What's going on, everybody? Brandon, just a plain guy, coming back to you today with another model review. Hope you guys have been doing well. Hope your weekend was good. So let's hop right into it. Today, I'm going to be bringing to you guys a rare model, a little bit of nostalgia, if you want to say that. This is the GeminiJets 1-200 scale, American Airlines, Boeing 757-200 with the winglets in the bare metal livery. I'm trying to remember where I purchased this model from. I think I got it off of the GeminiJets website, and then I think my hobby store, Burbank's House of Hobbies, they were taking orders for so many of these, and I guess they got it from the GeminiJets website, and they were selling it out of their hobby store for a discounted rate. So that's how I got it. I got it through a couple ways. Don't know if they're selling any more of these. I don't know if they're coming out with another release of these models. But yeah, so good luck trying to find it. eBay's probably your best bet. So just wanted to bring this to you guys and get into a little bit of how American Airlines came to be the airline that they are, and we'll go into some details of why this why the 757s aren't flying anymore. Obviously, coronavirus, and then obviously too, you know, pushing forward with a better and bigger plan for more efficient aircraft to do more things. It's sad to say that a lot of the old school aircraft that we have come to love and grew up on are sadly being phased out for the new era. So, but let's get into it. Like I said, this is the American Airlines 757-200 with the winglets in the bare metal livery. Some people call it the retro livery. Some people call it the bare metal retro livery. But yeah, so let's get into it. Okay. American Airlines is a major U.S.-based airline headquartered in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, within the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. It is the largest airline in the world when measured by scheduled passengers carried and revenue passenger miles. American, together with its regional partners and affiliates, operates an extensive international and domestic network with almost 6,800 flights per day to nearly 350 destinations in 48 countries. American Airlines is founding member of the One World Alliance, and regional services are operated by an independent subsidiary carries under the brand name American Eagle. American Airlines and American Eagle operate out of 10 hubs, with Dallas-Fort Worth being international. With Dallas-Fort Worth International being its largest. The airline handles more than 200 million passengers annually, with an average of more than 500,000 passengers daily. As of 2022, the company employs 129,700 staff members. American Airlines was started in 1930 via a union of more than 80 small airlines. The two organizations from which American Airlines was originated were Robinson Aircraft Corporation and Colonial Air Transport. The former was first created in Missouri in 1921, with both being merged in 1929 into holding company, the Aviation Corporation. This in turn was made in 1930 into an operating company and rebranded as American Airlines. In 1934, when new laws and attrition of male contracts forced many airlines to reorganize, the corporation redid its routes into a connected system and was renamed American Airlines. The airline fully developed its international business between 1970 and 2000. It purchased Trans World Airlines in 2001. American had a direct role in the development of the Douglas DC-3, which resulted from a marathon telephone call from American Airlines CEO C.R. Smith to Douglas Aircraft Company founder Donald Willis Douglas Sr. When Smith persuaded a reluctant Douglas to design a sleeper aircraft based on the DC-2 to replace American's Curtiss Condor two biplanes. The existing DC-2's cabin was 66 inches, 1.7 meters wide, too narrow for side-by-side berths. Douglas agreed to go ahead with the development only after Smith informed him of American's intention to purchase 20 aircraft. The prototype DST Douglas Sleeper Transport first flew on December 17, 1935, and the second anniversary of the Wright brothers' flight at Kitty Hawk. Its cabin was 92 inches, 2.3 meters wide, and a version with 21 seats instead of the 14 through 16 sleeping berths of the DST was given the designation DC-3. Okay. There was no prototype DC-3. The first DC-3 built followed 7 DSTs off the production line and was delivered to American Airlines. American Airlines inaugurated passenger service on June 26 of 1936 with simultaneous flights from New York, New Jersey, and Chicago, Illinois. American also had a direct role in the development of the DC-10, which resulted from a specification from American Airlines to manufacturers in 1966 to offer a wide-body aircraft that was smaller than the Boeing 747, but capable of flying similar long-range routes from airports with shorter runways. McDonnell Douglas responded with the DC-10 Trijet shortly after the two companies merged. On February 19, 1968, the president of American Airlines, George A. Spader, and James S. McDonnell of McDonnell Douglas announced American's intention to acquire the DC-10. American Airlines ordered 25 DC-10s in its first order. The DC-10 made its first flight on August 29, 1970, and received its type certification from the FAA on July 29, 1971. On August 5, 1971, the DC-10 entered commercial service with American Airlines on a round-trip flight between Los Angeles and Chicago. In 2011, due to the downturn in the airline industry, American Airlines parent company, the AMR Corporation, filed for bankruptcy protection. In 2013, American Airlines merged with U.S. Airways but kept the American Airlines name, as it was the better recognized brand internationally. The combination of the two airlines resulted in the creation of the largest airline in the United States and ultimately the world. So let's look at a little bit of the hubs. As of July 2022, American Airlines flies to 269 domestic destinations and 81 international destinations in 58 countries as of August of 2022 in 5 continents. American currently operates 10 hubs: Charlotte, Chicago O'Hare, Dallas-Fort Worth, Los Angeles International Airport, Miami, New York JFK, New York LaGuardia, Philadelphia, Phoenix Sky Harbor, Washington Reagan. The alliances and code-share agreements. American Airlines is a member of the One World Alliance and has code shares with the following airlines: Aer Lingus, Air Tahiti Nui, Alaska Airlines, Cape Air, Cathay Pacific, China Southern Airlines, El Al, Fiji Airways, Gol Transportes Aeros, Hawaiian Airlines, Indigo, JetSmart, Jetstar, Jetstar Japan, Level, Korean Air, Malaysia Airlines, Qatar Airways, Royal Air Maroc, Royal Jordania, Seabourn Airways, Silver Airways, Sri Lankan Airlines, and Vueling. Joint ventures. In addition to the above code shares, American Airlines has entered into joint ventures with the following airlines as well: British Airways, Finnair, Iberia, Japan Airlines, and Qantas. Okay, so that's a little bit of the information on American Airlines and some of their partnerships. Let's go to the information. This is from Simple Flying. Gone but not forgotten, American Airlines Boeing 757 operations. American's Boeing 757-200s were an important and conspicuous part of its fleet. However, in 2019, the last full year of use, the type had just 1.1% of the carrier's flights. The 757 was withdrawn from use as the effect of the pandemic took hold, with 31 aircraft retired in March of 2020. American Airlines permanently retired all A330s, 757s, 767s, CRJ200s, and the Embraer 190s last year. Earlier in 2021, American also retired multiple order 737-800s. The carrier's A330-200s weren't initially expected to be withdrawn as they were younger and had been retrofitted, but they were later on. The retirement of most of these aircraft was already planned, but some were kept in service longer than expected due to the B737 MAX issues. Coronavirus offered the reason to retire them sooner and to achieve a leaner, meaner foundation for the future. From prioritizing, right-sizing, and retreating to the core. Like all other airlines, coronavirus has offered the chance to emerge stronger and more competitive. Project Oasis has also helped with competitiveness. One part of this involving adding more seats to A321s and B737-800s, driving down seat mile costs and growing revenue opportunities. All right. American Airlines had 177 B757-200s in all. The first two, registration N610AA and N611AM, arrived over 32 years ago on July 1989. N610AA was scrapped at Roswell in 2012, while N611AM is used by the U.S. Department of Justice as N119NA. A good number of the carriers B757s were inherited by let me say that again. I'm reading too fast. A good number of the carriers B757s were inherited from U.S. Airways. The writing was on the wall years ago for Americans' B757s. In 2004, they had 175,000 flights, but that was only 10.6% of the carrier's total, based on examining OAG data. Since then, the type's share decreased virtually annually. By 2014, it had just 6.1%, and it fell to 1.1% in 2019. Some 35 airports saw America's flying pencil in 2019, with Dallas the #1 airport by movements, although Miami was firmly second. The type had no scheduled presence at O'Hare. It was last served in 2018. While Charlotte, America's second largest hub, had only a small operation. The type operated 70 routes in that final full year, of which 42 were domestic. The top 4 by total flights were all hub-to-hub routes: Dallas to Philadelphia, Dallas to Miami, Philadelphia to Miami, and Dallas to Phoenix. While American's Texas hub had the most movements, Miami had the most routes. Some 21 operated, including 11 internationally across the Caribbean, Mexico, only Cancun, and South America. Miami to Quito had more B757 flights than any other international route. So that's a little bit of information on the Boeing 757 right there. And, obviously these aircraft are no longer in service unless, they're being used for different jobs. As we know, some of them are being used for Department of Justice. Others have been scrapped. But it's cool to learn the history of these planes because, we won't see them again. I know I work for United Airlines and we still have our B757-200s and 300s, but those will soon be scrapped and discontinued. My only regret is that we never got to see a different variant of the 757. We didn't get to see like a 757 Neo or a 757 800. So it's kind of sad because these are absolutely a workhorse of an aircraft compared to the as far as narrow bodies are concerned, compared to the 737 and the 757 and all the narrow body aircrafts. The 757 was a true workhorse. It's an iconic plane, something that you can tell from afar. And it's just going to be sad when these are no longer in use. It's just a sign of the times in aviation, right? So we're going to get into the model. I'm not going to be long here. We're going to get into the model real quick. I'm just going to show you all the features of this aircraft. And yeah, and then we'll wrap it up, okay? So let's get right into it. So coming to the left side of the aircraft, we have our left side right there, that beautiful bare metal livery right there, just shining. We have the red, white, and blue stripes, very nice. We have our pitot 2 static port, static wicks. We have our L1 door. We have our L2 door. We have the beautiful American title. We have the One World livery. Right next to the L1 door, we have our cockpit side windows. We have our nose landing gear with our struts, our partial registration on the door right there. And then we also have our hubcaps and our wheels for the landing gear. Okay, going to the top of the fuselage, we have our anti-collision beacon, if you guys can see that. I'm not going to pull in too much closer because it's going to... There we go. As you can see, we have our anti-collision beacon, a real lifelike jewel. Then we have our L2 door with all our directions on how to open the door and close the door. As you can see, we have a high-frequency antenna at the top right there of the fuselage. And if you look inside the wing, we have our inboard landing light on the wing. Coming down to the beautiful Rolls-Royce RB211 engines right there. Continuing down the fuselage, we have our emergency exit windows right there at the top of the wing with our emergency exit slide directions off the wing. We have our flat/ailerons and spoilers on the front there. And then if this will focus, we have our beautiful, look at that, we have our beautiful wingtips right there with the AA.com. I don't know if I can get in that close. Oh, it's letting me get in close. Wow. Okay, don't get too happy now, but look at that. We have the beautiful winglets with the AA.com right there, and then we have our red light right there at the end of the wing. Okay, so that's pretty detailed. And then let's go back to our landing gear right there with that beautiful Rolls-Royce engine. We have our main landing gears and the landing gear doors. This aircraft does tilt pretty well. The engine blades, they do not spin on this one, so I won't bother showing you guys that, but the tilting feature is very fluid. It's just I don't know what's going on with my landing gear right there, why it's kind of crooked. And so we'll go down the fuselage to the back of the plane, that beautiful red, white, and blue stripe. And then we're going to go to our not our partial, but our full registration. November 657 Alpha Mary. That's November 657 Alpha Mary. And then we have our rear exit door on the fuselage. Going to our horizontal stabilizers, you can see where the horizontal stabilizer will go up and down. Very detailed. And then that iconic AA tail with the American flag. And then we have our APU exhaust in the back right there. So I'll give you a little visual of the side, the left side of the aircraft. A little slow pan. Just a beautiful, look at that beautiful coloration. Trying to give you guys a slow little pan right there. Those beautiful Rolls-Royce engines all the way down to the front of the plane. And so we'll turn this around for you to the right side of the aircraft. Pretty much the same thing except for the cargo doors and all that. And then I'll show you a little bit of that APU exhaust real quick before we go into the right side. Has a real lifelike APU exhaust hole right there. Very realistic. All right. And then that's just the tail version of the aircraft. As you guys can see on the right and the left wing, you can see the emergency exit markings right there. So that's pretty cool. All right. So coming to the right side of the aircraft, pretty much the same thing. We have our American Airlines title right there in big bold letters. We have our pitot 2 static port, static wicks. We have the right side of the cockpit area. We have our R1 door. We have our nose gear right there with the... That's not the registration, so I'm not really sure what that number is, but there's a number on the nose gear doors. Same side, we have our nose gear struts, our wheels. Going down the fuselage, we have our cargo door, our forward cargo door right there, if you guys can see that. Our R2 door, and then our inboard landing lights right there in the wing again. We have our high frequency antennas, and then the anti-collision beacon light right there. And like I said, we have the Rolls-Royce RB211 engines. We have our main landing gear with the landing gear doors, our flat slats, ailerons, and spoilers. And there's that beautiful AA.com on the winglet. I'm going to see if I can get in there real quick like I did on the other one. It's not letting me do it. It's not letting me do it. But it's, oh, there we go. Okay. So yeah, the beautiful AA.com with the stripes on the winglet. That's a pretty touch right there. And then going back to the fuselage. Okay. We got our aft cargo compartment where we put all the luggage and everything in there. And then we have our registration again and our final door to the end of the fuselage. And the registration is November 657 Alpha Mary. And then we have our horizontal stabilizers on the right side and the beautiful tail with the American and the eagle and the American flag. And we have our tail rudder, as you guys can see, very detailed. And that is pretty much it for this beautiful airplane. And we'll just do a slow little pan of this one right here. And there we go. So if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. You know, share your comments. Do you guys have this model in your collection? Now this is the aircraft model color scheme that I grew up on. And I'm pretty sure everybody's grown up on this because this is what they came out with. So it's nice to see a little bit of the old school from here and, you know, from time to time. But yeah, this has been the small little review of the American Airlines 757-200 with the winglets. And stay tuned as I bring you guys more. I might try to get my hands on some more models this week. See what the GeminiJets website has. See what JC Wings has coming out. Jetcollector.com. See what they have coming out. And if I see something good, I will bring it to you guys and I will unbox it for you. So this has been Just a Plane Guy. I hope you guys are having a good Monday. Stay safe, stay blessed, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.